people who change their life are not always the loudest. They are often the ones who keep showing up quietly, even while their confidence is still growing. They understand that results are built in private long before they are seen in public. They learn to respect small wins, because small wins become momentum. And momentum changes everything. So do not wait to feel fully ready. Do not wait until the fear disappears. Begin with what you have, where you are, and keep moving forward with discipline and courage. Every ordinary day can become a turning point when you treat it like one. Wake up with intent, work with focus, and protect your energy from anything that steals your future. That is how obsession with work becomes a habit. You do not become successful by worshiping the result. You become successful by learning to respect the work so deeply that the work changes who you are. That is the shift. That is the turning point. Too many people stare at the finish line and lose their energy before they even begin the race. They want proof before practice. They want victory before discipline. They want confidence before commitment. But life rarely works that way. The people who grow the fastest are the ones who fall in love with the process. They wake up and ask a better question. Not how soon will I win, but how well will I work today? Not when will people notice, but how can I become better in private? That is where real success begins. In the unseen hours, in the hard repetitions, in the quiet choices that nobody praises. If you can learn to respect those moments, you will become the kind of person who cannot be stopped by temporary disappointment. The result will come later. The work comes first. The identity comes next. The victory follows the identity. So stop begging life for a shortcut and start building the mind that can carry a long road with confidence, patience, and pride. Some of you are tired because you keep measuring your worth by the speed of your progress. You look at your life and compare it to someone else's highlight reel. Then you wonder why your own path feels slow. But slow is not failure. Slow is often the exact pace required for deep growth. A tree does not panic because the roots are invisible. A seed does not quit because the harvest is not instant. You need the same kind of patience with yourself. If the work is honest, the process is never wasted. Every repetition strengthens your discipline. Every setback teaches your mind to stay calm. Every delayed reward teaches you how to remain focused without constant applause. That is powerful. A person who can keep working without immediate validation becomes dangerous to every limitation that tried to hold them down. So take your eyes off the scoreboard for a little while and put them back on your habits. Ask yourself if you showed up today. Ask yourself if you gave your best attention to the task in front of you. Ask yourself if your actions match your dreams. That is the real game. The result is just a reflection. The work is the cause. The world loves to celebrate talent, but talent alone never built a lasting life. Talent without discipline becomes potential that never matures. Talent without consistency becomes a story people tell after it faded too soon. What carries people forward is not just what they can do on their best day. It is what they can repeat on their worst day. It is the decision to continue when motivation drops and nobody is there to rescue the mood. That is why obsession with work matters. Obsession means the task is no longer a burden you hate. It becomes a commitment you honor. It becomes a promise between who you are now and who you want to become. And yes, there will be days when the work feels heavy. There will be days when the room is quiet, the inbox is empty, the phone is silent, and your confidence feels smaller than your dream. That is normal. That is part of the climb. Do not interpret pressure as a sign to retreat. Interpret it as a sign that you are approaching something worth earning. The higher the goal, the more the work will ask of you. Accept that cost. Pay it gladly. Because the person who pays the price with discipline eventually inherits the kind of life that others only talk about. You cannot build a strong future with weak habits. You cannot expect a disciplined life while feeding distraction every hour of the day. The habits you protect are the life you become. If you let your mornings dissolve into noise, your afternoons into delay, and your evenings into exhaustion without purpose, then your dream will keep waiting outside the door. But if you take control of the small things, you start taking control of the big things. Wake up with intent. Move your body. Clear your mind. Work on the hard thing first. Finish what you start. Keep your word to yourself. These are not small actions. These are identity-shaping actions. They train your brain to believe that you are reliable, and once self-trust grows, confidence follows. People often think confidence is a feeling. It is not. Confidence is evidence. It is the memory of having done hard things before. It is the proof that you can be counted on when the pressure rises. Build that proof daily. Protect your routines. Cut off the habits that drain you. Put your energy where your future can actually use it. That is how ordinary days start becoming powerful. There is something dangerous about comfort when it stays too long. Comfort whispers, "You can rest now, you have done enough, the dream can wait a little longer." And if you listen to that voice too often, the hunger begins to fade. The edge gets soft. The urgency disappears. You stop pushing. You stop stretching. You stop becoming. Comfort feels harmless, but it can quietly steal years from a life. That is why successful people learn how to respect discomfort. They understand that the thing which challenges them is often the thing that changes them. A tough conversation can sharpen your future. A difficult schedule can strengthen your mind. A demanding season can reveal what you are truly made of. Do not fear challenges just because it feels unpleasant. Sometimes the uncomfortable road is the one that leads exactly where you want to go. The easy road often keeps you where you are. The harder road teaches you who you are. And who you are becoming matters more than how comfortable you feel right now. So get used to effort. Get used to repetition. Get used to the grind that shapes character. It is not punishing you. It is preparing you. When results are slow, the mind begins to invent stories. It says, maybe I am not enough. Maybe I missed my chance. Maybe this is not for me. Those thoughts can sound convincing when you are tired, but they are still just thoughts. They are not facts. Facts are different. The facts may be that you are still learning. The facts may be that your effort has not been consistent enough yet. The facts may be that success is asking for more patience than you expected. But none of that means the dream is dead. It means the dream is developing. Learn to speak to yourself like someone worth helping. Replace panic with process. Replace shame with adjustment. Replace self-attack with strategy. The more you do that, the faster you recover from setbacks. A resilient mind does not deny pain. It uses pain without becoming controlled by it. It says, yes, this hurts, but I am still moving. Yes, this is slower than I wanted, but I am still building. Yes, I am frustrated, but I am not quitting. That mindset is powerful because it keeps the door open. It keeps your future alive while others are closing theirs with fear. The work becomes easier when you stop asking it to entertain you and start asking it to transform you. Not every productive hour will feel exciting. Not every step forward will be dramatic. Most growth is boring before it is brilliant. Most progress is invisible before it is undeniable. That is why so many people fail. They mistake boredom for a lack of purpose. They mistake repetition for failure. They mistake quiet effort for wasted effort. But repetition is where mastery is born. Repetition is where confidence takes root. Repetition is where the weak version of you is slowly replaced by a stronger one. So keep repeating the right actions. Keep writing. Keep practicing. Keep studying. Keep improving. Keep showing up when the mood is low and the applause is absent. The days you keep your standards are the days your future gets stronger. You do not need dramatic inspiration every morning. You need a firm decision and a steady plan. Let the work be sacred in the sense that you guard it. Let it matter to you enough that you refuse to treat it casually. That seriousness will carry you further than hype ever could. Hype fades. Discipline stays. If you keep waiting to feel ready, you may wait forever. Readiness is often built by action, not before it. People think they need more confidence before they begin, but confidence usually arrives after they begin. It grows when you keep a promise, finish a hard task, survive a bad day, and prove to yourself that you can still move forward. That is why the first step matters so much. It is rarely about perfection. It is about motion. Motion creates feedback. Feedback creates improvement. Improvement creates belief. Belief creates momentum. And momentum changes everything. So do not overcomplicate the beginning. Choose one thing. Do it today. Then choose the next thing. Then the next. The life you want is built through repeated beginnings that you refuse to abandon. Some of those beginnings will feel small. Good. Small beginnings are still beginnings. And if you stay faithful to them, they become the foundations of something much bigger. The person who learns to begin without waiting for the perfect mood learns one of the greatest skills in life. They learn how to create progress from ordinary moments. That skill will keep paying them back for years. There is a version of you on the other side of discipline that is calmer, sharper, and harder to shake. That version is not far away because of luck. It is formed by structure. It is formed by choices made when nobody was there to supervise them. It is formed by mornings spent in focus and evenings spent recovering with purpose. It is formed by saying no to things that steal your energy and yes to the habits that strengthen your future. You have to protect that version of you before it fully appears. Protect it by respecting sleep, time, attention, and effort. Protect it by refusing to waste too many hours on noise. Protect it by keeping your vision bigger than your excuses. A person with a strong vision can endure a lot because they know what the pain is for. They know hard work has a destination. They know their current discomfort is not random. It is a bridge. Every day you walk across it with discipline, you move closer to the life that fits your effort. Trust that. Move like that. Carry yourself like that. The future respects people who respect the work. Failure does not become dangerous until you start using it as an identity. A bad season is not who you are. A failed attempt is not who you are. A delay is not who you are. These are events, not definitions. They may have happened to you, but they do not get to own you unless you hand them that power. Learn from what did not work. Extract the lesson. Adjust the strategy. Then move again. That is what resilient people do. They do not romanticize pain, but they also do not run from it blindly. They understand that pain can be a teacher if you refuse to let it become a prison. When life hits hard, your job is not to collapse into self-pity. Your job is to stand up with more clarity. Ask what needs to change. Ask what needs to be strengthened. Ask what you can control today. Then control it. That is how you regain momentum. Not all at once. Not in one magical moment. But step by step, decision by decision, habit by habit. There is dignity in that kind of rebuilding. There is power in it too. It proves that your story is still in your hands. Stop giving your best energy to what does not build you. Stop feeding every distraction with your time. Stop making peace with habits that quietly weaken your future. If you want a strong result, you need a strong routine. If you want a stable life, you need stable standards. If you want to think like a winner, you need to behave like someone whose time has value. That means fewer excuses and more execution. It means less gossip and more growth. Less scrolling and more skill. Less wishing and more working. This is not about becoming cold or robotic. It is about becoming intentional. A focused person has room for joy because they are not constantly at war with their own choices. They know where their energy goes. They know what matters. They know what must be protected. That kind of clarity gives life direction. And direction reduces confusion. So simplify the day. Put the essential things first. Make the work the center. Make the future the reason. Make discipline a habit. When that becomes normal, your whole life begins to shift in a better direction. One day, if you stay with the work long enough, you will look back and realize that the result was never the only reward. The reward was also the person you became while chasing it. The stronger back, the calmer mind, the deeper patience, the sharper focus, the self-respect that came from keeping promises to yourself when it would have been easier to fold. That is the deeper win. That is the kind of success nobody can take away from you. So keep going. Keep showing up. Keep building the habits that make your future harder to deny. Keep your hunger alive, but direct it at the process. Get obsessed with the work. Let the work shape your character, sharpen your focus, and strengthen your standards. Results matter, but they cannot be your only obsession. The work is what creates them. The work is what teaches you. The work is what prepares you. And the work, done with consistency and pride, will always leave you better than it found you. Stay with it. Your life can still rise. You cannot change your life if you keep living as if every day is a random accident. The people who build something meaningful do not drift through their hours. They assign value to their minutes. They understand that attention is a currency, and every distraction is a purchase. If you spend your attention carelessly, your future becomes expensive and slow. But if you spend it with intention, your progress starts compounding. This is why the work matters so much. The work is not only the task in front of you. It is the discipline of directing your mind when it wants to wander. It is the practice of returning to what matters after every interruption. It is the quiet power of choosing the right thing even when a louder thing is tempting you. That choice, repeated often enough, becomes a life. So guard your focus. Protect your schedule. Treat your effort like a serious investment. One focused week can do more for your future than a whole month of half-hearted trying. This is where momentum is born. Not in fantasy. In attention. In action. In doing the same important thing long enough for results to finally catch up. The hardest part of growth is often not the work itself. It is the wait. It is the stretch of time when you are giving effort and still seeing very little return. That is where many people break. They do not quit because the goal is impossible. They quit because the delay attacks their patience. But delay is not proof that the dream is dead. Delay is proof that the dream is still asking to be earned. You must learn how to survive the silent season without becoming bitter. Keep your posture strong. Keep your standards high. Keep your heart steady. Just because the results are not showing, yet does not mean the effort is empty. Hidden progress is still progress. Training without applause is still training. Building without recognition is still building. Trust the invisible part of the process. A lot of life is happening there. The mind is becoming sharper. The discipline is becoming cleaner. The identity is becoming stronger. When the visible reward finally arrives, it will be standing on top of all that unseen work. So respect the quiet season. It is not a pause. It is preparation. There is no shame in starting from a place that feels small. Many great lives began in ordinary rooms with ordinary tools and ordinary people who simply refused to stay ordinary in their habits. The difference was not a dramatic shortcut. The difference was commitment. A committed person does not wait for the perfect setup. They make the setup work. They do not complain forever about what they lack. They use what they have with full effort. That mindset is powerful because it removes excuses and replaces them with movement. If you only work when everything feels ideal, you will remain at the mercy of conditions you cannot control. But if you decide that your standards are bigger than your circumstances, you become dangerous to limitations. You stop saying someday and start saying today. You stop saying maybe and start saying I will. That shift in language matters because language shapes action, and action shapes results. So be committed to the small things. A serious future is often built by someone who took the small things seriously long before the world took them seriously. That is how real confidence is born. From reliability, from effort, from repeated proof. Pain can either make you soft or make you strong, and the difference is in the meaning you give it. If you see pain as a sign to stop, it shrinks your life. If you see pain as a signal to learn, it expands your life. The experience itself may be uncomfortable, but your response is still in your hands. You can let disappointment turn into discipline. You can let embarrassment turn into wisdom. You can let pressure turn into power. That does not happen by accident. It happens when you decide not to waste your suffering. Every setback should leave you smarter. Every hard day should leave you stronger. Every mistake should leave you more aware. This is how resilience grows. Not by pretending things are easy, but by refusing to let the hard things control your spirit. The person who can keep their composure while things are breaking around them becomes rare. The person who can keep working after a letdown becomes powerful. The person who can stay honest after disappointment becomes trustworthy with bigger dreams. So do not let pain be the end of the story. Let it be the part that built your backbone. A lot of people want a life that looks successful, but they do not want to live a life that is structured enough to sustain success. They want freedom without discipline, wealth without patience, recognition without repetition, and confidence without the quiet years that create it. But the real world does not work like that. The people who last are the people who learn how to respect order. They know when to work. They know when to rest. They know how to keep promises. They know how to stay consistent when emotions are messy. They know how to protect their mission from their mood. That is a huge advantage. Because moods change every day, but mission gives direction. The mission tells you why the work matters. Mission helps you keep going when no one is clapping. Mission makes sacrifice feel meaningful instead of painful. So write your mission in your mind. Protect it in your habits. Return to it when distractions try to pull you away. When the mission is clear, the work gets easier to respect. And once the work is respected, your whole approach to life starts to mature. That maturity is what gives success a strong foundation. At some point, you have to stop asking life to be gentler and start asking yourself to be stronger. Life will always have pressure. It will always change. It will always have moments that test your patience and challenge your confidence. The goal is not to avoid those moments forever. The goal is to become the kind of person who can move through them without losing direction. That takes practice. It takes emotional control. It takes the ability to pause, breathe, and choose the next right move. It takes a mind that does not fall apart every time the pace slows down. Strength is built in the response. So when the day gets hard, do not waste it on panic. Use it to practice steadiness. Use it to practice focus. Use it to prove to yourself that you can still think clearly under pressure. That proof will matter later. It will matter when the work gets bigger. It will matter when the opportunity comes. It will matter when your future asks whether you are ready to carry more. And you will be ready because you trained yourself to stay strong. The best part of obsession with the work is that it turns pressure into direction. Instead of asking how to escape this hard season, you begin asking what this season can teach me. That question changes everything. It turns frustration into focus. It turns helplessness into action. It turns confusion into a search for answers. And answers matter, because answers lead to improvement. Improvement leads to confidence. Confidence leads to movement. Movement leads to results. This is the chain that changes lives. So do not hate the work just because it is demanding. Respect it because it is revealing your next level. The work shows you where you are weak. The work shows you where your attention leaks. The work shows you how much discipline you still need. That is not an insult. That is information. And information is useful when you are trying to build a better life. Use the information. Fix the leak. Tighten the routine. Keep moving. Every time you do, you become less controlled by fear and more controlled by purpose. The future is not waiting for a perfect version of you. It is waiting for a committed version of you. A version that can show up on tired days. A version that can keep going after small failures. A version that can stay calm while progress is slow. A version that respects the work enough to do it again tomorrow. That is the version that wins. Not the loudest. Not the flashiest. The most consistent. The most dependable. The most focused on becoming better instead of looking busy. So decide today that the work will matter more than the result for a while. Let the process train you. Let discipline sharpen you. Let resilience carry you. Let patience protect you. And when doubt tries to talk you out of your path, answer with action. When delay tries to make you discouraged, answer with more effort. When comfort tries to make you soft, answer with standards. That is how you take your life back. That is how you become hard to stop. That is how you rise. Keep your head up and your hands busy. The work is still the path, even when it feels slow. Trust the process, protect the habit, and stay loyal to the future you are building. Results will follow the effort that refuses to quit. Keep moving one day at a time.